Good Sunday morning to you, Facebook and YouTube land. How you doing? Guess what time it is? It is time for Sunday Sports Wrap with your sports guy Kendrick. Hope you all are having a great Sunday, and it is a beautiful day here in Texas. We finally got some sunshine after the clouds bit the last couple of days, and it's warming up a little bit. So again, good Sunday to you. Hope you all having again a great weekend. Make sure you come in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channels. That's TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SporTZHustle on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow both on Facebook as well. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's Kendrick1969. And you can also follow me on TikTok. That's Kendrick Henderson51. So again, make sure you come in, like, comment, join the conversation because we're going to be talking, you guessed it, we're talking AFC, NFC Championship games is going down today, and I got a guest that I'm going to bring in without further ado. I'm bringing in my brother from another brother, the hardest working man in show business, KOTV sports director at the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas, Mr. Michael Coleman. Mike, good Sunday morning to you. How you doing?
What's going on, Speed Limit? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Trying to drive the speed limit. Trying to stay around the speed limit. I'm probably not going to be able to, but I'm doing all right, brother. How you this morning?
Doing well, and you know, it seems like I was thinking about it in my show last night. As much as we all anticipate the Super Bowl, the anticipation for today is off the charts, man. It really is. I think
you're right. I think it really is, man, because it's been the build up to these games, especially the Ravens and the Chiefs. That build up has been off the radar, man, and we're going to talk about, you know what, matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and talk about this AFC, NFC championship games, and we're going to start with the AFC first, Mike. You know this Kansas City Chiefs team very well. You worked in the market for some years, and these guys have been here, done that. I guess you can say this is where they normally end up for the last 5 or 6 years. Let's go ahead and get to it. What's your thoughts on this matchup today?
Well, and you make a good point. This is where they usually end up, the 6th straight year going to the AFC, and this is not one of their better teams. You know, the defense is tight. They got a good defense, but matchup is the matchup we deserve. Course number 15, and then course number 8 with the Ravens, and they've never played against one another in the postseason. Right. But in the regular season, although I think Lamar, the last time they played in the regular season, Lamar won that one. But this one here, this is for the marbles. This is where who's going to be sent home. That win last week for Kansas City was a gut check win. And if you think about it, and you know, the game of football and sports, if is a big word, but if McCole Hardman does not fumble that ball, if the Chiefs recover Josh Allen's fumble instead of just trying to pick it up, you have a double-digit win.
Right.
Yeah. But yet we're able to hang on and do what they did. Well, and the guy misses. You know, even to me, even if it had gone to overtime, Kansas City would have got the win. But the kicker just went ahead and expedited and said, "Well, we don't need no overtime. He gonna go ahead."
Right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and knock this thing out.
We're going to get this out the way. What does concern me is their tight end is back. Andrews, talking about the Ravens. He's back. Right. He's good. He's real good. And I think Harbaugh played it right. If we get to this point of the season, you're coming back if you're able to come back. We don't want, you know, he probably could have came back last week.
Yeah, he could have.
He probably could have came last week and said, "Hey, we think we can take care of this." So that's concern. But also concerns me is that run defense of Kansas City. And I know Josh Allen is a beast and he's hard to bring down, but you got to wrap around these. Well, as much as you're going to be able to wrap Lamar up, you know, he's not going to overpower you, but he's shifty. He's got the backyard moves. You know, brought it all the way to the AFC Championship, and I like Lamar. I mean, like Mahomes, my team I grew up watching against Lamar. You know, if Lamar didn't want to win it, I'm rooting for him all the way.
Right.
You know? But today, I'm rooting for the hometown team because I like history, man. I mean, This cat Mahomes, as I said, 6 times in a row.
Right.
Six
That's
times
crazy.
in a row.
Yeah, his resume, he's building that resume, man. He's getting closer to, he got to win a couple more Super Bowls, but dang it, he close enough to be considered one of the GOATs at this point.
Well, someone made a good point last week on one of the, I think it was ESPN, and it might have been Ryan Clark. He says, in the past, we've compared Mahomes to the Bradys and the Mannings.
Right.
He said, but now we're comparing younger quarterbacks now already to Mahomes.
Yeah, that's true.
And he
Right.
hasn't accomplished. He's just on that journey of accomplishing what they have in front, the guys in front of Mahomes. So I like that. I like their defense. I like Kansas City's defense. And John Harbaugh is a disciple of Andy Reid. It's one of those Ali sparring partner lines. I didn't teach you everything that I know, but I taught you some things that you are putting to use. So I'm looking for a wrinkle from Andy Reid. Just don't get cute like a fake punt like Buffalo tried last week. I mean, with DeMar Hamlin, I mean that was silly. That was silly.
Yeah.
But hey, DeMar got weapons. I like his weapons. His weapons are more effective right now than the Chiefs' weapons, and he knows how
that's
to
true.
He knows how to use them. And the old adage, the run game opens a pass game, and this is a perfect equation for them because they've got a run game, and not just him.
Right.
The Chiefs are going to be they're going to be on their heels, and let them get big yardage in between the 20s. Just don't let them get to the red zone.
Yeah, and speaking of which, these are the top 2 teams in the NFL in the regular season in scoring defense. The Ravens only give up 16.5 points a game, and the Chiefs are only giving up 17.3 points per game. And the Ravens D, they led the league in sacks with 60. So they're going to be getting after Mahomes. The thing about Mahomes, he's not as elusive as Lamar Jackson, but he can move around in that pocket. He can make things happen with his legs as well. But the Chiefs offensive line, they're going to have their hands full today with that Ravens defense. Would you say, Mike?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And it's something that John Harbaugh alluded to, some sound that I use. He says, when it comes to pass rushing against Mahomes, he said, it seems like he's got those sensors that we have on our car when you back up and hear that beep, beep, beep. He's got that within him. Because I've really never seen, or it's been a while in this era of ball, a quarterback play with eyes in the back of his head, if that makes sense, because he's like he's always a step ahead, or he's already anticipating, the pass rush from all angles, because that's always scrambling in the back. But no, you're right. The offensive line of Kansas City, they're going to have their hands full, and they can't afford. That's a good thing about Mahomes being able to read defenses. Where a few years ago he said, "I'm just now learning how to read defenses." Is when they give you a fake setup of what they're going to do, and you sense that they got a plan B ready. You can burn them, because you can be overly aggressive. So okay, listen, they're going to just keep coming, then we got to do something with that, But no, their defense. I think I give the defense the edge. On the defensive line, the edge over the Chiefs' offensive line.
Yeah.
Now, last week, their penalties were held to a minimum, because they're a heavily penalized team on the offensive line. Jawan Taylor, I believe, is his name, because he tries to get into a setup and he moves. It's like, dude, you can't be doing that. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't work with him during the season. Like, okay, you can't do this because you're killing us. And the run game for Kansas City, I think, is going to be on point. Pacheco, he didn't practice, I think, because of a bad toe, but he's going to play.
He's going to play. I saw that earlier.
And I think, hey, number 25, Hilaire. I mean, he's good to bust loose for a good first down in a tense moment. So this is going to be a game of moments, and who can handle the most tense moment when the back is against the wall, and that's what makes this game. The game of football is so fun when the stakes are what they are. Is if you know football and you like football, you're looking for a team that can seize the opportunity, and that's what we're going to have here with this heavyweight matchup.
Yeah, and speaking of this matchup, the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites at home. This is their first home AFC Championship or championship game that they've hosted since 1971. And you were talking about the officiating. This is something, fans, y'all watch this game, keep an eye out on this officiating crew. Referee Sean Smith, in the regular season, his crew threw the third most flags in the NFL this season. They averaged 14.8 flags per game. So keep an eye out on the penalties and this referee crew of Sean Smith, because they like to throw the hankies, as they say. They're going to be throwing it, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. So, Mike, let's go ahead and who you got? Chief, let's go ahead and make our picks on this game.
What am I wearing?
Yeah, I know. I just had to ask. You know, I had to ask the question. Who you got and what's the score?
I didn't have a Ravens jersey. No. I got Kansas City winning. They got to score 20 points. Let's get that. Okay. They got to get 20 points. So I'm gonna go with them 24-20 over the Ravens.
And I'm going with the Ravens. And I'm only weak because I think that home field advantage is going to be their advantage. I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going Baltimore 20, Chiefs 17.
Okay.
And speaking of which, we're going to bring it back to East Texas before we move to the NFC games. If either one of these teams win, there's going to be East Texas representative in the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs win, we got Patrick Mahomes, straight out of White House, Texas, outside Tyler. If the Ravens win, we got Tyus Bowser, straight out of Tyler, Texas, Tyler High School. So East Texas, as always, somehow there's a connection when there's some big game going on, Mike. Always.
Well, and it's been that way since I've been able to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Which was the initial reason why I was given the green light to go. I mean, I had the hookup, but just my station had to do their part, and they did. But every year, you know, whether it be the Howard kid, of course Trent Williams on the other side, we're about to talk about the NFC, and then how about the kid Josh Reynolds out of Detroit, who played at TJC, the wide receiver.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm glad you brought that up.
He played at TJ. He's from San Antonio, but he played at TJC back in 10 years ago or whatever. And he caught their first touchdown, the Lions' first touchdown last week, Josh Reynolds. And so like you just said, East Texas is all over the place, man.
Okay, and that was a great transition. Mike transitions us into the second game of today, the NFC Championship on Fox. We got the Lions, number 3 seeded Lions at the number 1 seed 49ers, Mike. And who would have thought that we would be sitting here talking about the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game? If anybody said they picked them, you're lying, and there ain't no truth in you. If you said at the beginning of the season the Lions was going to be NFC Championship game. Mike, give me your thoughts on the preview of this big game coming up.
And you're right. I don't even think Barry Sanders saw this coming. So.
Right.
Okay. I like this matchup, and I like what Campbell has done, you know, because, you know, when he had that press conference about the kneecaps and all that, he was being mocked. He was being taunted, and he was being written off. And you see why, because just the boldness he had at his press conference, and B, it's Detroit. Okay. Right. And which both are interchangeable. It could be the other way around. It's Detroit, you know. Mm-hmm. But I like Detroit's chances, and I like him because they don't know what they don't know, and they learned a valuable lesson. They learned a valuable lesson losing to the Cowboys weeks ago. You know,
right?
I mean, if they played their cards right, they could have been a high. Well, they're at number 2 seed, right?
3 seed. No, 3 seed.
Yeah, they could have been a 2. They could have been a 2. Right. But no, I like the direction. And you know what? I like how Goff has shaken off any kind of doubt that was thrown his way, being traded from the Rams for Stafford.
Right.
And he probably thought, wow, they're sending me to the junk pile. But Campbell revived his career. There's no mistake about it. And he's a good. I didn't think he was a good quarterback, but for him to do what he's done with the Lions, considering the history the Lions have, he's an elite quarterback. I believe that now. I didn't think so much with the Rams. The Rams are loaded, and this young talent they got. What's his name? The running back,
Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama.
I love that watching this guy run. Right. I love watching him run, and He's got receivers to throw to. I just mentioned the Reynolds kid.
Yeah, I'm
And
on St. Brown. I'm on Ross St. Brown.
Amon
Yeah,
St. Brown. And I like on the defensive side, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson.
yeah,
Man,
he's a
you
beast.
talk about a beast. He's the real deal. He was the real deal from the time he set foot,
Yeah,
with the Lions.
right.
So, I mean, the Niners, they're the Niners. They got a little glamour going on about themselves because they're San Francisco 49ers, and you know who their players are. McCaffrey,
Yeah.
Trent Williams,
Debo Samuel,
Debo Samuel.
he's going to play, by the way.
He's
He's
going to play.
playing.
But
Yeah,
but
George
but
Kittle. Yeah, they got all
but
the weapons.
of the four teams, the most reliable at quarterback is San Francisco.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy.
now that you think about, when you think about it, you're right. He is.
I mean, he's not the trigger. The people around him are the trigger.
Right. That's facts. Yeah.
And your Packers could have beat them.
Should have beat them.
Yeah,
we had them on the ropes. Yeah, man.
They should have beat them. So that speaks well for their future. But this matchup, I think, is going to be a lot better than people are giving it. I think San Francisco are 7-point favorites.
Yeah, they are. They are 7-point favorites.
Okay. I guess I would have thought more of like a 3 or a 4, not a full touchdown, because Lions are explosive. They can score some points, and I guarantee you, after they watch that Packers-Niners game, they're thinking, "Oh, and they probably saw some things that we didn't see, and that San Francisco was not able to overcome." And so like I always say, teams take on the personality of their coaches, and this team definitely has of Coach Campbell. So I think it's a good matchup.
And it pains me, obviously, because they are a NFC North rival. So I'm not really trying to go with the Lions, but I give respect because I said that this team was going to win the NFC North, and I said that probably around the second or third week of the season, and they did that. So
who they beat? Who they beat to open the season up with?
They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're right. So that right there kind of opened the eyes up to a lot of fans. Like, dang, Detroit might be the real deal. Speaking of which, you mentioned Barry Sanders. He's going to be the honorary captain today. By the way, and the Niners. Actually, the pressure is all on the Niners because this is their 19th conference championship appearance. That's the most in NFL history. They've been to what? They've been to the NFC conference game about five times since 2012, I believe.
Yeah.
And they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995. I know people always poke fun at the Dallas Cowboys, but listen up. The Niners ain't won one in a long time either, guys. Right. So, I ain't taking up for the Cowboys, but the Niners haven't won one either. But I think, again, Mike, I agree with you. I think this game is probably going to be a little tighter than most people expect. I don't think the Niners is going to jump all over them, but I do think the Niners will pull this game out. I think it would be close, and I'm going with the Niners 23, the Lions 17.
Okay, I'm gonna go same score but on different sides. 23-17 Detroit Lions.
Okay, wow, the upset. And you mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs, and they got another guy for the Lions, David Montgomery. They got a two-headed monster there, and they're gonna have to. The Niners defense definitely gonna have to, keep that run game under control, and also the Lions defense because they're a little weak back there on that back end. You can throw on them. The Niners lead the NFL in yak. If you don't know what yak is, that's yards after contact. They average 95.3 yards per game after contact, and the Lions defense lead the league in yak giving up. 65.3. So that'll be a key to watch when you watch this game. And then, Mike, you mentioned Aiden Hutchinson. He's had 8 sacks in the last 4 games. So he's in the zone, as they say, when you in basketball, when you're hitting the three. So again, we got we got 2 good matchups, Mike. And again, this game, either one of these teams win, there's going to be an East Texas connection, like Mike mentioned. If the Niners win, Trent Williams, straight out of Longview, Texas, offensive lineman, he will be in the Super Bowl. And the Lions, you said the wide receiver, Mike?
Josh Reynolds, who played at TJC back in the early 2000s or mid-2000s.
So either way, we're gonna have some sort of Texas
Oh
connection
yeah.
in the
Oh
Super
yeah.
Bowl. And speaking of which, if y'all don't know, my man Michael will be covering the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and we're gonna try to see if we can do a live show on that day or the day
Sure.
before, whatever.
Sure.
Just gonna look at see what your schedule is. All right,
We
now
because
let's move on
we've
to
done that.
more.
We've done it the last few years, haven't we?
Yeah, we done with the last few years. I want to say the last 3 years,
I
haven't
think
it?
it's three.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think it
so.
began in
I,
Tampa. Yeah,
yeah, so I think this will be the fourth year if we can pull
we
it
got to
off,
keep
and
the
hope so
tradition
we can do
going,
that.
man. We got to keep the
Yes,
tradition
yes,
going.
yes, sir. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustler. All right, Mike. You know I had to get you on for this one because when I read this, I was like, man, I can't believe this, man. If you hadn't heard that a statue of Hall of Famer and sports icon and civil rights icon Jackie Robinson was stolen from a park. Matter of fact, McAdams Park in Wichita, Kansas, shortly after midnight on Thursday morning. I did look for an update to this story. They still haven't found any suspects, but they did get video surveillance. They saw a silver pickup truck backing it up into the park and cutting, as you can see here, cutting the statue and just left the shoes and put the statue in the truck and drove off. Mike, man, what are your thoughts on this
You
story?
know, when you think about the history of Jackie Robinson and all that he went through when he crossed that barrier, he was disrespected then in his
Mm-hmm.
prime, and he's disrespected now that he's
Right,
gone.
right.
And it's I don't even have words for it, man. Other
Mm-hmm.
than being disappointed and heartbreaking. And that statue was there for kids to learn about his legacy, and you can still tell the story with that with what's going on. But now you've added to his legacy. You know, those kids every day. Those kids go to that park are like, well, who did this? Why did they
Right.
do this to Jackie Robinson? So now mom and dad, we don't know the reason why. It could have been just a joke. It's a bad joke. It could be racist based, and mom and dad, especially those who don't look like us, they got some explaining to do about the world on something like this. So
Right.
there's a lot of reasons. I mean, we don't know the reason why it was taken, but we don't need to have there doesn't need to be a reason. It's
Right.
wrong.
Right.
It's
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I know there's a reward, I think $7,500 reward up for it. And
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
who works in Wichita had called me because he wanted a contact from my friend Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro League Baseball Museum. So I'm sure he weighed in pretty well on that.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you gonna do with this statue? What are you gonna do with this statue? And you do something like this, you can't keep your mouth shut. You're gonna
Right.
tell
Right.
somebody.
Right.
You're gonna snitch on yourself. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to them bringing the justice to this as soon as
Mm-hmm.
they can.
And you made you asked what can they do with it, and when I posted this story on TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle, and someone asked that, and then a commenter said that, well, it could be someone that uses this to melt it down to get money for it. And I was like, you know what? That's a possibility because I don't know what this statue is made of, but I'm sure it's made of some sort of material where you can probably sell it and get money for it.
Well, if that's the case, hopefully the person they try to sell it to are like, oh, these guys are the ones that took the Jackie
Right.
Robinson.
Yeah.
You know,
You hope so.
yeah,
Yeah.
you hope. I hope. I
Right.
hope they have some humanity within them. I don't know, and maybe it'd be a guy who's a little boy played in that park one time, and he's the one that told him about Jackie Robinson. There's going to be a connection if you're going to try to, to melt it down and get the funds for it, whatever. There's going to be a connection, and that's going to be the giveaway right there. So unfortunately, it happened, and still Jackie Robinson's being disrespected continuously.
And defaced. I don't know what would have been worse, Mike, if they just if is this worse or defacing it? You know what I'm saying? Like just marking it all up. I think they both are pretty bad. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to figure
if
it,
you deface it,
Yeah.
can you wipe off the
Right.
elements on that?
Right.
Because you're not going to keep it up there if you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
so it's a toss up. It's a toss
Yeah.
up.
And the estimated damage is $75,000. I mean, again, this nonprofit league raised money to have this erected. $50,000, and then to have someone come in and just be some straight knuckleheads and whatever, and cut and steal this from that part from those kids, you're gonna get karma. Karma is undefeated, is what I always say.
Yeah.
You're gonna, whoever they are, whoever these persons are, I hope they're found, and they're gonna get what they deserve in the end. So yeah, I
Let
had.
me add this. Let me add this. I hope it's not a black person.
I hope it ain't either, man.
I
I
hope
pray and
it's
hope it's
not.
not.
I mean that's.
I pray and hope
I mean,
it's
to
not.
me, I'll feel worse if it is, and
Right.
because
Yeah.
we have to preserve our history because we don't get a whole lot of opportunities to do
And,
that.
and and they trying to take away our history. Let's
They try
be
to take
honest.
away
They
our
trying to,
history.
and then for this to happen, what, 2 weeks before Black History
You
Month
take
starts on
tomorrow
Wednesday,
or
which
Wednesday,
which which Black
Wednesday,
History, to me, Black History Month is every
every
month.
day. Yeah,
Yeah, it
every month.
just, they
Yeah,
just recognize it in February.
yeah,
That's a whole
yeah,
nother topic for
yeah.
another day. But again, whoever those suspects are, I definitely hope they get caught, and I hope they are. I hope they are criminalized, and I hope they are, their punishment is get what they deserve to the fullest extent of the law. That's my opinion on that. Now, our last segment before we get out of here, on Friday. Speaking of Friday, I gotta wish my man right here, the guy right here, a happy belated born day. His born day happened to be this past Friday.
Yeah.
So happy belated born day, my brother.
Thank you, man. I
Uh,
appreciate that. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
man, no doubt. January brothers in the house. And on January 26th, 4 years ago,
Hmm.
and it doesn't seem like time has. It just seemed like it happened yesterday. We lost Hall of Famer, Laker legend, Kobe
Hey,
Bean
Academy Award
Bryant,
winner. Academy
Academy
Award winner.
Award winner, exactly, Kobe Bean Bryant. And I did a reflection piece, and I don't like to say anniversary of someone's death, because when you talk about anniversary, that's celebration.
Right,
And,
right.
and I don't want, I never, I don't, I just call it reflections and remembering of Kobe Bryant. And I was thinking, what would Kobe Bryant be doing if he was still with us in the physical? What do you think Kobe would be up to, Mike, if he was still here?
Well, he'd be watching his little girl, who'd be older, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
flourish in the sport that he flourished in because he was, she loved basketball. I think we would have heard more humanitarian things about him. If you won one Oscar, why not try to win another in another field? I mean, I think Kobe was at that point of his life where I'm not just a basketball player. I
Right.
can expand who I am. I have my brand and all of that. I don't think he'd be on television or in the booth or anything like that. I think he's bigger than that, and I think we would have enjoyed seeing him expand that opportunity that would come his way, because I'm pretty sure if you're Kobe Bryant, you get all kinds of opportunities. I
Mm-hmm.
think he'd be more of a high profile than Michael Jordan is. Michael, we don't really see Michael a lot. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think we'd see more of Kobe, but not just for the sake of seeing him, but
Right.
because he's doing something meaningful. I think I really believe that, and I mean, we all can remember. It's like the very first news story as a kid for me was the assassination of JFK.
Mm-hmm.
I was 5 years old, and I know when I came home, and it is this is how kids relate, because you come home from school, kindergarten, and where are the cartoons? All right,
Mm-hmm.
because that I used to come home and watch the cartoons, but the three channels back in the day, they all was on the same thing, and it was, and I'm still like trying to comprehend what's going on, and I like days later it would hit me when I saw JFK Jr. saluting at his father's procession, and I've always, it's black and white, and I've always had that imprinted in my head. I'll never forget that picture, and that's when I within myself figured, oh, his daddy's gone.
Right.
Someone killed his daddy, because you saw the video over and over and over and over. Um, and so now that's the first news story was brought to my attention. My wife and I were going to grab a bite to have my birthday, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm flipping the channels on the radio, and I'm like, did he just say Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash?
Mm-hmm.
And as we listened to it unfold, we just sunk, man.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't heard something like that in a long time with anybody with that kind of name, you
Right.
know. And
Right. It's
then
been a long time. You're right.
I mean, we had,
Mm-hmm.
really, and then for it to be Kobe, you're like, oh man. And then
Right.
the killer was the other people, especially his daughter.
Right.
His daughter died with him. That just
Mm-hmm.
gave it another different layer. So it was just a really sad, sad story. And it's like
Yeah.
you said, it's hard to believe it's been 4 years because I remember it, like you said, again, like it was yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah, and I definitely think Kobe would be champion women's basketball. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
you saw that again, coaching his daughter and those young ladies. I think he had a really close relationship with Diana Taurasi, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
She mentioned how their relationship was, and you would see him at WNBA games, and I think on the heels of last year's women's national championship game, what was Iowa and LSU. I think we're seeing a beginning of people really, I think, getting into women's basketball. We had LSU and South Carolina played a couple of nights ago, and so I think Kobe would definitely be in the forefront of uh, bringing that women's game to
Oh
that next level. I think that what he would be doing, and I believe Gigi would. I believe she would have been like a senior this year, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, because I
wow,
want to say she
wow.
was was she 13? I
I
want to
think
say.
sounds right. Yeah, I think
I
sounds
think
about right.
so. I think she would have been going into her senior year, and probably Kobe. They would be looking at what colleges she was going to go to. But again, I think he definitely would be doing that. And like you say, I think he would be dabbling in the arts. Obviously, he was very artistic with that short film. Basketball. I forgot the title of it, but it was really
Right,
good.
right, right,
Yeah, and so I think he would be, and I think he would be mentoring a lot of these young basketball players. Obviously, Devin Booker and Kyrie Irving, they had close relationships with Kobe, from what I read, and so I think he would probably really, he wouldn't be kind of like standoffish like Mike. As
right.
far as the younger guys, I think Kobe would embrace that.
He would embrace.
He would have embraced that, and also my only thing that I don't like about the content creators now that I see on social media, when you talk about the GOAT conversation, for some reason Kobe Bean Bryant always gets skipped over.
Yeah, he does.
His name is never mentioned as one of the GOATs, and I think that's a disrespect to him. But I just wanted to again remember and reflect on the life of a short life that he lived it for. I mean, hell, he lived it. He lived a full
Oh,
life. You know what I mean?
that dash between
Yeah,
78 and 20 is
yeah.
loaded, man. It is loaded.
He lived a full life. So, continue to rest in power, Kobe, as well as the seven other people that perished on that crash, and his young baby Gigi. So continue on, King. All right, Mike. We down to our final thoughts, man. Let you get out of here. What you got any last thoughts on these two championship games today?
No, I really don't. I mean, all the talking's been done. Um, I like how all the teams are having a business-like approach to it. We're not hearing somebody yak and and talk and make noise because you know um, that they know they know what's at stake.
Right.
And these aren't the kind of teams personnel wise that have players that run their mouth. They don't they don't have that. So I just want to see a good game, and I hope we don't hear from the referee, and that's one thing all the teams are should do, and they probably will. Just kind of see how the refs are calling the game.
Mm-hmm.
You just and unfortunately, that's how you have to approach a game now. It's like, okay, was he calling everything, or can I get away with this? I mean, there's gamemanship in sports, and you're going to try to get away with something, but hopefully they're not a factor in this game. And it's a darn shame that we have to even think that way now because of
I
how the
know.
officials are. Because
Right.
they're not full time; they're part time.
Right.
They are part
Yeah.
time, and I just think if they were full time, they would spend more time with their craft and training, as opposed to flying into Baltimore on a Saturday afternoon and then flying out on Sunday and go back to your day job as a banker or whatever it is they do on Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. So,
Right.
and you said the guy's name. It used to be a time when we didn't know the names of the referees.
We didn't. You're right. Now we know. Yeah, we definitely know for sure. So then, last thing, Mike D, I'm gonna let you get out of here. I forgot the finalists for the NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year was made a couple of days ago, and here are the finalists: Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, Bills quarterback Josh Allen, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, Niners quarterback Brock Purdy, and Niners running back Christian McCaffrey. And Offensive Player of the Year candidates as well. Finalists are wide receiver Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Who you think is going to win that MVP?
Lamar.
I think so. He should. He deserves it. Yeah, he deserves it.
It's I mean, because and he's overcome a lot. Has he won it? He's won it before, right?
Yeah, he won it in 2019.
Right.
Yeah,
and even then he had skeptics. He had skeptics then, and his
Right.
game. It's only improved, not because I don't think I'm not saying he's a better passer now than he was back then. I'm saying it's only he has matured as a player.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he had to work on his game, because as a player flourishes, his game improves, and that's just a natural. But I think this is Lamar's year, And,
yeah, I think so.
I say that tentatively, but hey, it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's been right.
I'm gonna have I'll be able to root one way or the other.
Right.
The outcome of the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Well, I appreciate that. Y'all make sure y'all follow Mike at KOTV.com. Again, he's a sports director at the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas. Mike, enjoy the game and good luck to your Chiefs.
Thanks, man.
We're going to see what happens. I appreciate you on with me.
Right.
Have a good one. Tell the missus I said hello, too.
I will.
All right, brother. All right, that'll wrap up TFG Sports Media Sports Show for the day. I am your sports guy, Kendrick, the sports guy. Make sure, again, you subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Social. That's SportZHustle on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. And you can follow me at Instagram. That's Kendrick 1969, Kdrick, KDRICK 1969. And you can follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson 51. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy these championship games, and we will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.